As a schoolboy, even as a child, I was extremely fascinated by the story of Japan, by the phenomenal success that Japan attained after the Second World War. As everybody knows, Japan was defeated in the Second World War, and at the end of the war, Japan was completely, or all but completely, destroyed. It seemed that Japan was a country without a future. But in the decades that followed the Second World War, Japan recovered dramatically and attained phenomenal success. Japan's economic rise was simply meteoric, and in a matter of decades, Japan became an economic superpower. I used to wonder how the Japanese were able to achieve this. I also used to wonder why such things did not take place in my country, in India. The more I investigated, the more I studied, I realized that at the basis of this spectacular rise, this phenomenal success, was a particular philosophy, a particular outlook, and that this particular philosophy, this particular outlook has a near universalist applicability. If this philosophy, this outlook is applied, whatever be the area, whatever be the level, be it at the individual level or at the collective level, the results would be the same. I discovered that this philosophy, this outlook, can be adopted and can be applied by any individual in any area. It could be studies, it could be career, it could be business, it could be life itself. And the results would be fantastic. Similarly, any organization which adopts this philosophy, adopts this outlook, and applies it in the functioning of the organization is bound to reap spectacular rewards in terms of success, in terms of achievement. The outlook, the philosophy, the approach is known as Kaizen. Kaizen is a Japanese word which means improvement or change for the better. But contextually, I think the word Kaizen can be more accurately translated as constant improvement or constant change for the better. It can perhaps even more accurately translated as constant minuscule improvement or constant minuscule change for the better. The reason why Kaizen is so completely successful is that Kaizen is rooted in the fundamental reality of this world. In this world, even the most immense objects are conglomerates of tiny parts, Take any immense object and analyze it, and you will find that it consists of innumerable tiny parts. If a forest may consist of 1,000,000 trees, and every tree was once a plant, and the plant started off as a seed. A majestic mansion strikes awe, but if you analyze it, you find that it consists of 1,000,000 bricks, and a brick is a relatively small object which even a boy can lift. A book brings the Nobel Prize for its author, but the book consists of only 500 pages, and a page is something a schoolboy can write. Analyzing it further, every page consists of, say, 300 words, and a word is something even a child can write. The point is that everything in this world, however big, however immense, however majestic, however striking, is a combination, a conglomeration of innumerable tiny particles. And the philosophy, the outlook, the approach of Kaizen is based on this basic understanding. Kaizen is often looked upon as a corporate philosophy, but the fact is that it has extraordinary applicability at the level of the individual. Let us take health, for example. Health is the foundation on which everything else is built. With some exaggeration, you can say that if you don't have health, you cannot have anything else. The Kaizen approach comes handy here. For example, you can have a health drink every day. I have created a video titled Three Divine Drinks. If you can drink one of those three drinks every day, it's not going to make any difference on the first day, but 1 year from the day you start drinking it, it's bound to bring about a significant change for the better to your health. I shall leave the link to the video titled Three Divine Drinks in the description box. Please take a look at it. Similarly, using the staircase instead of the lift, instead of the elevator, when you go to office every day, when you come out of office every day, a small thing by itself, but in the long run, it brings about a very significant improvement to your health. You are a chemistry student and you are struggling to memorize the periodic table. All you have to do is to set apart 15 minutes every night before you go to bed, just before you go to bed, to study the periodic table. A small thing by itself. But if you can do it, it's only a matter of time before you become the master of the periodic table. Similarly, you are a law student. You're finding it difficult to memorize the important amendments to the Constitution. All you have to do, provided you are a morning lark, is to set apart 15 minutes each morning to study the important amendments to the Constitution as the first thing in the morning. There is no doubt that it's only a matter of time before you become a master of the constitutional amendments. You work in an office where everyone is under pressure. You take a decision to use the word please 10 times every day, to use the words thank you 10 times every day. And if the situation does not permit the use of please or thank you, you are determined to create a situation in which you can use please, you can use thank you. You will artificially create an opportunity to use please and to use thank you. You are bound to see the results of this small step, small decision in a matter of days. You want to read a book. It would be fantastic to read the book at one go, but most persons are unable to muster the interest, muster the concentration necessary for such a sustained exercise. So, you set apart half an hour every day for reading the book, and you are able to read the book with interest and concentration. It is only a matter of days before you complete the reading of the book. You complete reading the book. You are a smoker. You want to quit smoking. You want to quit smoking and you decide to quit smoking overnight. To get up one fine morning and declare that you are no longer a smoker. That would be very nice indeed. But it simply doesn't happen that way. Most of us do not have the willpower to take such a drastic decision, to take such a decisive decision and put it into operation. It would be much better to adopt a Kaizen approach. You smoke 20 cigarettes every day. You decide to reduce it to 15 for the next 2 weeks. After 2 weeks, you decide to reduce it to 10. And after 2 more weeks, you reduce it to 5. Thus, you can gradually quit smoking without your body ever being aware that you have decided to quit smoking. As I have already observed, Kaizen is basically a corporate philosophy and a corporate approach. It has succeeded in providing phenomenal results in the corporate level. The first principle of Kaizen in the corporate level is to admit that, is to accept that everyone is important. From the CEO, from the chief executive, to the security guard at the gates. Everyone has a role to play. And Kaizen wants to create the space necessary for each individual in the organization to make his contribution. When I say everyone, I mean it. Everyone from the chief executive to the security guard at the gate of the office. Everyone in a company is expected to participate in a Kaizen meeting. When I say everyone, I mean it literally. It means from the CEO or the chairman of the company to the security guard at the gate of the company. They are expected to offer valuable inputs to the meeting. The idea is how the Kaizen philosophy and the Kaizen approach can be implemented in the company. One of the first organizations to adopt and adapt Kaizen was Toyota. The result was what came to be known as the Toyota Way. The two pillars of the Toyota Way are respect for people and incessant improvement, relentless improvement. Respect for people is inscribed into Kaizen. Let us not assume that only what the chairman says is important. It can happen that the watchman provides an input which is more valuable than the input of the chairman. Similarly, let us not assume that we have attained the best. There is no such thing as perfection. Perfection can be perfected further. Even the best, so-called best, can be made better. There is always scope for improvement. What is needed is the spirit of the relentless pursuit of greater and greater excellence. In Kaizen, we set goals, but we also take care to ensure that the goals are not intimidating. There is no point in setting a goal which is massive and which cannot be attained. The only result would be an overwhelming sense of demoralization. Instead, we should set small goals which can be attained quickly. After attaining the first goal, we go to the second goal, and after the second goal, to the third goal, and so on. The Kaizen outlook believes that the century is much less important than the minute. After all, the century consists of years, and the years consist of days, and the days consist of minutes. If you take care of the minute, the century will take care of itself. As the ancient proverb says, the journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. What is most important is the single step. The three areas which are very dear to the heart of the philosophy of Kaizen are housekeeping, avoidance of waste, and standardization. All these three are interrelated. Housekeeping has to begin at the workplace. This could be the office, this could be the showroom, this could be the factory. The workplace has to be neat, clean, efficiently organized. The tools should be easily available. The equipment should not require any effort to be located. There should be optimum use of space. The Kaizen mindset is horrified by waste. A basic principle of the Kaizen approach is the elimination of waste, the avoidance of waste. Waste of time, money, resources should be avoided at any cost. Kaizen does not encourage overproduction or underproduction. The production should be just enough to meet the demand. Finally, there is the very important principle of standardization. Standardization means creating standards which are appropriate after much effort and then enforcing those standards. Standardization avoids waste. Standardization increases productivity. Standardization enhances workflow. Preset standards are fixed after much care, after much discussion, and it is mandated that the products and the services have to reach these standards. So, the three key focus areas of Kaizen are housekeeping, avoidance of waste, and standardization. The beauty of Kaizen is that it is tailor made for ordinary persons and ordinary organizations. Japan at the end of the Second World War was a very ordinary country, or even worse than that, it was a country devastated by the war. But Kaizen facilitated its meteoric rise in a matter of 3 decades to the position of an economic superpower. Similarly, Toyota, to begin with, was a very ordinary company. But Kaizen helped it to become a global automobile giant. As I have already observed, Kaizen is meant for ordinary persons and ordinary organizations. It can transform ordinary persons into extraordinary persons and ordinary organizations into extraordinary organizations.